What is going on, guys? It is me, Parkzy, your coach of the Ariados. Today I am going to be going through my draft of the UPC. So for you guys that do not know what the UPC is, it's basically a Pokemon League where me and 11 other guys, mostly YouTubers, are going to be competing in a Pokemon draft. I'm also doing this in the SDL and a video that will be coming out. I'm not really sure if it's going to be after this video or before this video, but it is the DGBA, which I'm also competing in with a lot of the same people, along with Haz as well, which is flipping Magirna in the SDL is still scaring me for week 5. But I have decided to switch up team names, do not worry. However, Armaldos will rise again for the DGBA. So in the UPC, I'm going under the name of the Ariados, and for the Armaldos, I am going to be in the DGBA and the SDL, just so that I can, get a few different names in there, sort of build up a few team names for myself, and also that these guys aren't like constantly seeing Armaldos pop up in your sub box. These guys are seeing something different. But the way the UPC works is it's a bit more different than most drafts. And for this, like, usually I like change, but I do not like this change in the draft. So basically, we get 2 tier 1s instead of 1 tier 1. We get 1 tier 2. We get 1 tier 3 instead of 2 tier 3s that we used to have, which is unfortunate. A tier 4, a tier 5, a mega, and a free, and 4 3 free slots, if I can flip and speak. Sorry, I've got this mouth guard in because I've got my braces off, so it might be a little bit hard for me to speak. Plus, also, I have to record a few videos after this, so wish me luck. But the reason that I don't really like this league is because we do have 2 confirmed tier 1 not megas, 2 tier 1 Pokemon, so that means that you have to pick up a tier 1 Pokemon and you must pick up another tier 1. You cannot pick a Pokemon from tier 2, put it into your tier 1 slot. You have to pick a tier 1 Pokemon. So, me being me, I don't really like many of the Pokemon in tier 1. I only like a handful, maybe like 9 or 10 of the Pokemon, like the 43 Pokemon or whatever that were in tier 1. So for me, it's kind of hard to draft 2 or 3 Pokemon in tier 1. If you take into consideration that I might have to put a tier 1 into my free slot, which I did. So it's a little bit hard to try and find the perfect Pokemon in tier 1 because a lot of the Pokemon in tier 1 are either offensive or just flat out defensive. Now, you can argue that Celesteela is one of those Pokemon that are offensive and defensive, but let's be honest, Celesteela is mostly a defensive Pokemon. You can run it offensive and as a Z user, but honestly, I prefer it to be a defensive set. Leech Seed and Protect is just so good on it. Especially since it's got Skarmory's typing, and Skarmory's still an OU, and it has like a base stat total of 480. Without further ado, let's get into my draft. Okay, so my first round pick was Tapu Fini. First ever pick in the entirety of the draft, which gone to Johnny, was Tapu Koko, so it was quite fun seeing a Tapu go first round, because you usually don't see that except if it's Tapu Lele. But Tapu Lele is banned in this league. Even if it is telepathy, it is still banned, so there's only 3 Tapus that you can pick up. Tapu Koko went first round. I was the 7th pick, so for my first round pick, I decided to pick up Tapu Fini. I'm pretty sure Tapu Bulu went round 2 to Cav, I think it went to, along with his Victini. But Aquarius is a really good Pokemon. I like it a lot. It has a very useful speed stat of 85, which allows it to be a Scarf offensive Pokemon because it can use that base 95 speed attack as well as that speed stat, because that speed stat is pretty much average. You are outspeeding the bulky Pokemon at around base 80. Plus also, Tapu Fini is such a bulky Pokemon. It has got base 115 defense, as you can see, and base 130 Spadef. So basically, you cannot OHKO this Pokemon if it is not stab super effective. And also, let's talk about Tapu Fini's. Let's talk about the Tapu Fini's move coverage first of all. So it can get things like Ice Beam. I'm pretty sure it can get a grass type move, if I'm not mistaken. It can get Grass Knot. Yeah, I was right. Sorry, you guys cannot see that. And also its stabs are very good. It has the Primarina stabs, and anything that has anything alike to Primarina, if it's attack wise or I guess typing wise, is just an amazing Pokemon in my book. So Tapu Fini, hopefully with the water and fairy stat combinations, I can break through lots of walls like Primarina does in UU. Also, not to mention, people were actually considering making Primarina a tier 3 for this draft, which is absolutely insane. But that's a quick side note. Also, this Pokemon gets some very nice utility moves with Taunt, Calm Mind, Nature's Madness. It can also haze to prevent people from setting up. And also, the thing we all know and love Tapu Fini for, and that is its defog with that bulky defense, allowing it to go physically defensive or specially defensive very easily. I really cannot wait to use Tapu Fini. It is one of the best tier ones in my opinion in terms of like what it can do, because Tapu Fini can do quite a lot. It can hit pretty hard, plus also it can remove hazards. It can be a stall breaker with Taunt. It can get some very nice damage against everything with Nature's Madness, which, if you guys don't know what Nature's Madness does, it is essentially a Super Fang which takes 50% health off opponents. But unlike Super Fang, it actually can affect ghost types. In fact, Nature's Madness affects every single type of Pokemon. So no matter what, you are going to be losing 50% of HP if you get hit by it. I believe it is base 90% accuracy, so that's a bit annoying. But I cannot wait to be using Tapu Fini because I've wanted to use it in the last league, but unfortunately MX3 stole it from me. So this time I'm going to be using Tapu Fini, my Aquarius. So my next pick was a pick that I kind of maybe slightly regret, but only because it was insane value. I decided to jump right down into tier 3 and pick up Tangrowth, aka Cotton, which I will be calling it for this league because look at that little cuttenness. But Tangrowth, one of the biggest defensive walls in OU, being able to take hits from Zygarde like no other, being able to take hits from Morwell like no other. Basically, any physical attacker is absolutely shut down by this Pokemon and its base 125 defense, complemented very nicely by that base 100 HP stat. Not to mention, this Pokemon actually gets a pretty wide move pool. It gets Edgequake, Knockoff, Leech Seed, Synthesis, Giga Drain, which is Stab by the way, and can use Hidden Power moves very nicely. It can use Hidden Power Ice to hit Dragon Ground types, which it does quite effectively in OU, and I can use Hidden Power Fire to hit things like Ferrothorn, Cortana, and Scizor, which I'm pretty sure Scizor and Ferrothorn, if I'm not mistaken, have been drafted, so I might have to run that. It has very useful attack, being able to have a 100 base attack stat and a 110 special attack stat. Its speed and Spadef does, leave a little bit to be desired, but that is why Tangrowth is, in my opinion, one of the best Assault Vest users in the entirety of the game, because you can boost that Spadef into like high ranges because you don't even need to invest into this Pokemon's defense. I was watching, I think it's Jay Bizzle's video where he was going through his DGBA picks, and he was saying you don't even need to invest into defense. Like, hardly are you ever going to invest into this Pokemon's defense. You might run max HP, but never really much into defense because you are going to be taking so many hits with Tangrowth. Like I said, its move pool is absolutely insane, being able to have Edgequake and things like that. I don't know if it gets a water type move, but it does get knockoff, which is very nice. And for tier 3, this Pokemon was absolutely amazing value, and I know that if I didn't pick up this Pokemon, someone else would snag it from me. Also, it does complete 2/3 on my Fire Water Grass core. Now all I'm doing is waiting on my Fire type, because I do have my Water type, which is Tapu Fini, and I'm a Grass type, which is Tangrowth, so my core is looking pretty good. Okay, so next up is my next tier 1 Pokemon. As I mentioned previously, you have to pick up 2 tier 1 Pokemon. So my next Pokemon in round 3 was Heatran, and for round 3 I believe Heatran is pretty good value for being a round 3 Pokemon. I mean, firstly, it only has 3 weaknesses, which is Fighting, Water, and Ground, and that is so patchable. I mean, Tangrowth resists Water and Ground, and essentially resists Fighting type, because 90% of the Fighting type Pokemon you're going to be going up against will be running with a physical set like Dream Punch or High Jump Kick or Mach Punch or like Close Combat, like all those physical fighting type moves that we all know and love. Tangrowth can sponge them up with its base 125 defense. Plus also Vesuvius gives me, which is my Heatran by the way if you guys did not know, it gives me something that I quite lack, and that is Stealth Rocks. I finally get a Pokemon that can set up hazards, and Heatran takes one of the biggest pieces of the cake for being a great Stealth Rock user. I'm pretty sure it's one of the best Stealth Rock users in the OU, which makes it one of the best Stealth Rock users in the draft, in my opinion. And that 4 times ground weakness is so easy to patch up with berries like Shucker Berry, or I can use Airballoon Heatran as well. I can go with a really offensive Heatran with some Magma Storm. Plus also this Pokemon's move pool is not that bad, getting Thunderbolt, Solar Beam, Earth Power, Shadow Ball, a few extra things like that. It also gets Dragon Pulse if I want to hit dragons pretty hard. Eruption is pretty nice because it does give me a base 150 base power stab fire type move, so if I want to run Scarf Heatran then I can do that as well. Heatran does make for an alright Zmon, and some people were suggesting it to me, but in the end, Heatran just doesn't really fulfill much that I want for my Zmon. Its coverage is pretty good, and I can run Z's Solar Beam with Grassinium Z, but that's only really what I'm going to be using it for. I mean, Heatran is going to be one of my reliable Stealth Rock setters, so I don't really want to, be forced to run a Z move and Stealth Rocks, because that's just annoying. It also is another phaser alongside Tapu Fini. It also does get Roar, so I can roar opponents out, and a very good Pokemon with Toxic. And one thing I've noticed is that if you are using a team with Tapu Fini, you can always bring hazards, not hazards, but status with you, and not really be that afraid. Whereas opponents, they're going to be afraid to bring hazards. They're going to be afraid to bring things like Toxic, Thunder Wave for you, because they know you've got a Tapu Fini, and if you switch to Tapu Fini and a Toxic or a Thunderbolt, or sorry, not Thunderbolt, a Thunder Wave, that's basically a turn wasted, and you get a free switch in. So there we go. There's Heatran. Okay, my next Pokemon is going to be my next Tier 1, which did cost me 200 points out of my 400 point total, so now I only have 200 points for my other 3 free picks. But my next Pokemon had to be Salamence going in round 4. I cannot believe this Pokemon still stayed, being one of the best Z users for a Dragon type, and which is why it is my Z user for the draft. Salamence gets an absolutely astonishing wide move pool, being able to hit on the physical and special side with moves like Fire Blast, Stab Draco Meteor, Stab Outrage, can use Flynium Z for Fly. It can also hit with Edge Quake, Thunderbolt. I'm pretty sure this thing might actually get Ice Beam. Does it get Ice Attack? Okay, I just look stupid now, but it does get things like Thunderbolt and Crunch and things like that. Plus also it does give me a secondary Defogger alongside Tapu Fini. I'm not really sure if I'm going to be running Defog that often on Salamence. I'm going to turn down the music because it's like 100% on my speakers and my ears are dying. But it does give me a secondary Defogger if I do want to bring it. Plus also it does give me a Dragon Dance Sweeper, so now I can finally have a setup sweeper. And it also is a Pokemon alongside Tangrowth that does get reliable recovery, in Roost, and 2 great abilities being Intimidate and Moxie. Moxie raising your attack every time you KO a Pokemon with your move. Intimidate being really nice because you can lower the Pokemon's attack that you're coming in on. So that can be very nice if you want to run Intimidate and Dragon Dance on a physical attacker when you switch in. Salamence is going to be a really good Pokemon, and I can't wait to use this as my Z user. It gets so many things like Steelium Z, Iron Tail, Fire EMC, Fire Blast. I just cannot wait to use this Pokemon, and I can't stress just how good of a Z user Salamence is, because its move pool is actually pretty cool. Because I thought it was only going to be maybe 6 or 7 useful moves. No, this Pokemon, apart from I'm pretty sure Ice type, which was the worst thing for me to look up because now I look stupid. But I'm pretty sure apart from Ice, it does get a move in every single other type, so I can really take the full effect. I can really use all the Z moves on Salamence and bring whatever I want essentially. So coming up next is my next tier 3 Pokemon, so that does mean that it is going to go back into my free slot, taking 80 points, so now I only have 120 for my remaining 2 Pokemon. Jolteon is probably one of the fastest Pokemon in the entire game, having an incredible speed stat of base 130 speed and a pretty nice attack of 110. it can do pretty good with its Stab, Thunderbolts, Discharge, and of course, who does not love an extremely fast Volt Switch? Probably why Tapu Koko goes so early in drafts is because it's really good as a fast U-turner or Volt Switcher. It gets Volt Turn itself, but the reason why I don't really like Jolteon in draft leagues is because it is very two-dimensional, only being able to run maybe 4 or 5 moves every single week, you know, which are pretty reliable. It's usually going to be speed running Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, a Hidden Power, most likely Ice, and then maybe some like cool coverage move like Signal Beam or Shadow Ball. This Pokemon isn't really that good when it comes to diversity. Its move pool is pretty shallow, but it can be a pretty fast cleric, being able to Heal Bell or I guess Wish, but Wish isn't really recommended with a Pokemon base with 65 HP. It also does get Dual Screen, so I guess I can bring maybe some week a fast Light Screen or Reflect Setter with Light Clay in the name of Jolteon. It is Tracer, by the way, for that Overwatch reference. It does get priority with Quick Attack, like, but I'm pretty sure I won't be using that base 65 attack stuff because it's pretty bad. But Jolteon, pretty two-dimensional, but it does give me the speed that my team really did not have, because my next fastest Pokemon, apart from Jolteon, is Salamence, and that is base 100, so that's really not that fast. And I knew Jolteon was around 5 or around 6 picks, so the sooner I got it the better, and I just didn't really see any Pokemon that I wanted, and I needed a fast electric type because it proved themselves time and time again to be very useful. And it's not like my team does not have enough switch-ins to ground types. Salamence is immune to them and can intimidate ground types if they are carrying rock coverage as well, and also Tangrowth can basically say no to any stab ground move. Plus also Feeny scares ground type Pokemon with revenge killing them. So I mean, Jolteon is going to find itself very nicely onto my team. Okay guys, so my next pick was another Pokemon I could have waited on maybe a round or two after drafting this Pokemon. I was asking around and no one really seemed interested in this Pokemon, but I absolutely love it. It is Sneasel down in tier 5, yes. This is not a typo, well it probably was for some reason, because I cannot see how they allowed Sneasel in tier 5. It is definitely a tier 4 Pokemon, if not a tier 3 in my books. It is the king of NU. Maybe, you know, could fight Slowbro and Virizion for that place, but its speed stat is absolutely phenomenal. Its typing is probably one of the best typings in the game offensively. Defensively, it sucks, I will admit that. Defensively is absolute trash. I'm pretty sure I can only switch into Boost and Ice type moves. But, I mean, I do have quite a few defensive Pokemon on my team, so it doesn't really matter. Sneasel is probably one of the best Pursuit trappers you're going to be getting. Base 95 attack plus also stab Pursuit is a very nice combination. Speed of 115 means that even if your opponent isn't going to switch out, you can also outspeed them and maybe knock them out. So say for example I was going against like a Reuniclus that was on about 30%, and I knew that my choice banded Pursuit would knock out. I can go for it anyway. You switch out, Reuniclus dies, you stay in, I outspeed you, Reuniclus dies, unless like you're in Trick Room, but oh well. So Sneasel, pretty good Pokemon. It actually gets pretty good coverage with like a few random things like Poison Jab and other things like that. Can also raise its incredible speed with agility, and I'm pretty sure this Pokemon actually gets Sword Stance, so I can run like a Sash Sword Stance variant maybe. Also it does get pickpockets, so I can run Fake Out No Item and steal my opponent's leftovers of life orb. Maybe that might be pretty nice. Sneasel, of course, does give me finally some priority in Stab Ice Shard, which is pretty nice because up until now my team was definitely lacking priority, and Sneasel is pretty good at delivering those nice priority hits with Choice Banded Stab Boosted Ice Shard. Okay, next up we have got my round 5 pick. Yet again, another Pokemon I could have waited on, but I am honestly surprised nobody saw this absolute beauty down in tier 5. Probably the biggest bargain of this entire draft league. It is Wobbuffet down in tier 5. Now, many people may pass this Pokemon off as probably a really stupid pick. Probably a joke pick because its attack, special attack, and speed is horrible. Plus also its defense is already base 60. But its HP stat, oh my goodness, its HP stat is ginormous. And it does not even need its attack or its attack Speed is a bit disappointing, but oh well, because it does only get 8 moves, but actually, surprisingly, with this 8 moves, this Pokemon actually gets some pretty nice coverage. It gets counter, and it also gets Mirror Coat, so that means if you hit this Pokemon with a physical hit, you're getting double the attack, you're getting double damage back. So if you deal like, I don't know, 20 hit points to me, I'll be dealing 40 hit points to you. Mirror Coat works the same way, except if my opponent attacks me on the special side, I can hit them back. Charm allows me not to fear if my opponent is going to set up Dragon Dances or Sword Stances against me, because I am allowing myself to lower my opponent's attack stages by 2. Plus also, I can do a pretty douchebag thing, but I can PP stall because things like Tickle, Charm, Counter, and Magic Coat all have a PP of 32. Safeguard also has a PP of 64 if I'm not wrong, so I can literally just sit there and Safeguard for 64 turns until my opponent runs out of moves and is forced to struggle me. But it can get things like Destiny Bond and Encore as well, so it means Pokemon can't like Toxic stall me, or they can't use Calm Mind without fearing to be encored into it. And then Parkzy trapped by my Sneasel. So Wobbuffet, although no one was really looking for it and I could have waited a round or two for it, I am definitely happy I decided to pick it up, because it does really say a big fat no to opponents bringing Choice Specs, Choice Scarf, or Choice Band. It also means that my opponents might have to run Toxic or some other status move on their Pokemon. If, like, for example, like you might have to run, this is an extreme circumstance, but like Toxic on your Diggersby. If I send out my Wobbuffet against your Diggersby, then you might have to run Toxic on that just so that you can try and stall me out of my counter turns. But Wobbuffet can also force my opponent to run Shed Shell on some of the Pokemon, so they can actually escape Shadow Tag, which is pretty good because that removes things like Leftovers or Life Orb, which may be useful. So that removes them and nullifies those effects. But I'm pretty happy I decided to pick up Wobbuffet. Me and JP didn't decide to have a fiver of a bet that if he did get annoyed at this pick, then he would have to pay me a fiver. And somehow the guy with a stone cold heart did not get annoyed. So I'm fiverless, but we'll wait. I'm sure we'll make another bet, and hopefully I can get another fiver. Alright guys, so my round 9 pick has to be Rhyperior. This Pokemon is absolutely insane, and I do not know how to stay here for so long. Rhyperior T4 is actually a pretty good value pick. Rhyperior, for some reason, always seems to be that Pokemon in RU in every single generation. But anyway, enough randomness aside, Rhyperior has got an insane attack stat of 140, a really good base defense stat boosted by that 115 HP stat. It surprisingly can take death attacks pretty well, and unfortunately it does only get a base speed stat of 40, but I can run Trick Room with it and it can actually be pretty effective. Choice Band Rhyperior is nothing to laugh at, plus also this Pokemon actually gets Solid Rock. This basically means that although it does have a lot of weaknesses, those times 2 weaknesses, I can survive with pretty much quite a bit of quite a few hit points. I can survive those hits, like Steel types, Fighting type moves, Ice type moves. They're gonna do damage, but they aren't gonna like Oko me, probably not, unless you like set up or stab like really strong base stat move, plus also your stats must be really high. Alright, Rhyperior gives me a secondary Rock Setter, which was overdue so much, because up until this point Heatran was my only Rock Setter, and you don't want Heatran to be your only Rock Setter, because Heatran, although it is a very good Rock Setter, if you only have Heatran as your Rock Setter, then that gets very predictable, and it means you can't run on offensive Heatran, which is very unfortunate. So that means that essentially you are wasting your Heatran because you can't really run like offensive sets with it. But Rhyperior does get some very good moves with Avalanche, Aqua Tail, and things like that. It can also get Dragon Tail, so it can get phasing moves as well. As I said previously, it does get Stealth Rocks, and Edgequake, Stab Edgequake, should I mention, is really good. Like, I do think that rock types get enough appreciation. Stab rock type moves are absolutely insane. Not also to mention Stab Edgequake is really good. So I can't wait to use Rhyperior. I think it's actually going to be a pretty good Pokemon. It's relatively untested up until this point, but hopefully I can pull off a few kills with it. And definitely show that it is a good Stealth Rock setter and a good Tier 4 Pokemon, because I haven't really seen this Pokemon do work, and I can't wait to try it out. It also gets Mega Horn for grass types, so it's pretty cool. So yeah. Okay guys, so my round 10 pick is Cofagrigus, and you'll be able to see with my round 11 pick what I was going for. But Cofagrigus is my Tier 4 Pokemon, so it does take 60 points away from what I already have. What I already had was 80 points. This means that taking 60 away from them gives me 23 points. And 23 points is actually pretty useful, because if I don't want Wobbuffet anymore, which, you know, who could not say no to that lovely XD face? But if I did not want Wobbuffet anymore and I wanted to upgrade it to a Tier 4 Psychic type Pokemon, then I could. I can spend those 20 points plus Wobbuffet and get a Tier 4 Psychic type Pokemon. But for now, we're going to keep Wobbuffet. So Cofagrigus is a pretty standard Pokemon. It gets a few quirky moves, but apart from that, nothing really too much. I do love this Pokemon though. The ability Mummy is absolutely amazing, being able to really halt physical attackers where they stand, because most attackers like Guts mons really depend on that Guts ability plus Flame Orb. But if you mummify them, then that means that they are actually dealing like 0.5% damage in comparison to what they would be normally doing, because Mummy has taken away their Guts. Also, Cofagrigus is just it's just one of the biggest switch-ins to fighting type Pokemon, because they have to carry knockoff, and some fighting type Pokemon don't even get knockoff. And if they are running knockoff, then they risk the chance of firstly having their ability lost, and second of all taking Rocky Helmet damage, which fighting type Pokemon don't really want to be chipped. Most fighting type Pokemon are late game sweepers or else they're spinners, so you want to keep them as healthy as possible so you can remove your hazards. Cofagrigus gets two main rules, I guess you could say. The first thing is a pretty defensive Pokemon being able to set up Toxic Spikes and maybe burn with Will-O-Wisp. Plus also you can Pain Split to gain reliable recovery. And the second option of Cofagrigus is the Trick Room Sweeper, being able to set up Trick Room and either going for Nasty Plot or Calm Mind, and then firing off Shadow Balls or maybe even Dark Pulses. And it can also get Energy Ball and Haze and a few other cool things. It can also get Hex if you want to really run very offensive, and also Destiny Bond, which means if an opponent knocks you out, then that they also get knocked out as well. It must be from a move though, it cannot be from things like Toxic or I guess Perish Song, if that's the thing. I don't know why that came to me first, but oh well. It does get knockoff, Magikarp, Memento, Nasty Plot as I already mentioned, and Nightshade, which is pretty good because it deals a residual amount of damage to your opponent. So if my opponent's HP isn't really looking that well, I can just continuously spam Nightshade. And also gets tricks, so I can run like some Toxic Orb, maybe some Toxic Orb set. Try and get a Violite off some mons and give them a Toxic Orb. That might be something pretty cool. But Cofagrigus is a pretty good Pokemon. Allows me to hazard stack against my opponent, which is what I really like. So I can't wait to be using Cofagrigus because it does enable me with a spin blocker ultimately, which I think spin blockers are underrated. I really do like them. And a good ghost type, you can never go wrong with a good ghost type. Okay, so I may have been mistaken when I said the Cofagrigus was my round 10 pick. It was actually my round 9 pick. This is my round 10 pick. It is Mega Beedrill, and for some reason I have got this Pokemon. I do not know how. It is last all the way down to round 10, but this is Honey. I am home with my Beedrill. And something else which is a bit weird about this draft is that the Megas aren't tiered, okay? So you can pick up a Mega Glalie, which, you know, RU, a decent Pokemon in RU, but, you know, some Pokemon you wouldn't really pick unless you're looking for free points. And Mega Latios, which is probably one of the biggest and best Megas in the entire game. You know, they cost the same, but I guess the good thing is that Mega Latios will be going pretty early, and you can only get one Mega, of course. So the huge Megas are going to be going first because there is no point system to it. So things like Mega Lopunny and the Mega Latios, and I think like Mega Scizor might have went first round. I'm not completely sure, but Beedrill I am pretty happy, especially since it is a round 10 pick. It does give me a third Defogger, but you know you really don't want Beedrill as your Defogger. If Beetroll is your defogger, then I feel sorry for you. It also gives me another Toxic Spike user if I don't really feel like Cofagrigus. Bit more likely to be a Toxic Spike setter than a defogger, but still pretty darn unlikely. It can set up with things like Sword Stance and Agility, I guess, but you're gonna see me probably playing Sword Stance more. Plus it also does get some nice moves like Drill Run and Acrobatics. Plus also it gets Giga, I just looked at it, it gets Giga Drain for some reason, but it only has a 15 attack, base attack. So let's actually go through its stats because it's got 2 very good stats, and that's all it needs. Mega Beetroll's got a base 150 attack stat, adaptability boosted. It's absolutely insane. Barely any types get in on Beetroll for free, and I think the only type that gets in against its stabs is steel types. They do fear Drill Run quite a lot, plus also they are going to be taking quite a bit from adaptability, stab boosted, 150 base attack boosted, X scissors and U-turns and things like that. And it also is one of the fastest Pokemon in the entire game, having a speed stat of 145. Which is very nice indeed. It is a very good Mega, and I did snipe Andrew with this pick, so when I go up against Andrew, I'm actually going to be renaming my Beetroll Are You Mad Andrew? If I do bring it, of course. I haven't really analysed Andrew's team that much. I can use Baton Pass, which would be pretty nice as well. And it also gives me another knockoff user. Plus also, Fellstinger has been boosted this generation from, I believe, 20 base power to 50. So, you know, stab boosted, adaptability boosted Fellstinger can actually do quite a lot of damage. And if you guys do not know, if Fellstinger does knock out your opponent, then you actually get a +3 attack boost. And Beetroll +3 attack is, like, that's unswitchable. Like, you literally cannot switch on a Pokemon if it has X's or Fellstinger, Poison Jab, and Drill Run. Like, there's barely anything that's going to be coming in. Like, you have to run, like, fully physically defensive Scizor to do that. And even then, I don't think Scizor OHKOs Mega Beetroll, so you have to Bullet Punch afterwards. So guys, my last pick was Blissey, which is my round 11 mon, as I am going to type it in now. Blissey making it to round 11, I do not know how this happened, honestly, because Blissey, in my eyes, is one of the best actually is the best Wish Passer in the game, but from a Draft League standpoint, it is one of the best Wish Passers because its special attack kind of lets it down a bit. It makes it a bit of setup fodder, but not entirely. I do like Blissey quite a lot. For the reasons that it's less setup fodder than Chansey because I can actually use its special attack, like if a steel type, like, you know, I'm using Scizor a lot, okay? Stop bringing up the SDL, okay? I had to drop Scizor. But if a Scizor wants to set up a Sword Stance on me, I can bring like Flamethrower Blissey and then just 2-hit KO it, or maybe even OHKO it. I don't know how Scizor is against Flamethrower. But this Pokemon ironically gets a really vast move pool of Dazzling Gleam, Dream Punch, Earthquake, Blizzard, Avalanche, Brick Break. Like, its move pool is actually really big, but it just cannot utilize those moves. Blissey, if you guys do not know, is probably one of the biggest special walls in the game, which is great because I have a lot of physical walls, which, just to name a few, are Cofagrigus, Rhyperior, and then I'm probably going to be running Wobbuffet quite a few weeks as a physical mon as well. Plus also Salamence gets Intimidate, so that's the physical side taken care of. And Tapu Fini Blissey Core can take care of the special mons. Now you can see what I was going with Cofagrigus, okay? Blissey and Cofagrigus. Cofagrigus is a physically defensive wall. Blissey is a specially defensive wall. Blissey hates fighting type moves. Cofagrigus resists fighting type moves. Cofagrigus hates ghost type moves. Blissey loves ghost type moves because it resists them. Plus also, if you're going to hit Cofagrigus on the special side with anything, Blissey can come in. If you're going to hit Blissey on the physical side with anything, Cofagrigus can come in. So that's very nice. Blissey also gives me Wish. It also gives me a Cleric with Heal Bell and Aromatherapy, I guess, if you want to use that. And also it can get reliable recovery on its own with Soft Boiled. It also gives me a third Stealth Rock user, which is pretty good because although Rhyperior is a good Stealth Rock user, I don't really want to run Stealth Rocks or Rhyperior every week because let's be honest, I'm only going to be running Stealth Rocks on each round like maybe 3-4 weeks at most. So Blissey can take some of that pressure off Rhyperior if I don't want to bring Rhyperior because it has a bad matchup, and I can bring Blissey and run Stealth Rocks on it instead. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video, just recapping my entire team. Let me know what you guys think about my team down below. I hopefully will be participating in a few battles very soon. Thanks guys for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on to never miss one of these battles. Like the video and also comment down below some helpful feedback. And see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.